and he crisply declined, going red beneath his manicured beard. Ruby and the others shared amused glances as their usually perfect leader dropped a couple of notes. From Steve's smile, she thought he might have agreed to spank the drunken woman. He was the blonde, laid-back party boy of their group. As for Ethan, well, she didn't know. Ethan never gave much away. Ruby was trying not to give anything away. The truth was, she was fascinated by the BDSM activities around her. Kind of flustered, kind of worked up, because finding pleasure through pain wasn't an alien concept to her. She'd experimented a little over the years, not with partners, because she'd never found the courage to express what she wanted, but on her own, using clothespins and paddles and half-ass bondage she could easily escape. It excited her, but she wasn't sure she could survive doing things like that with another person. What if they thought she was a pervert? Or worse, what if they thought she wasn't enough of a pervert? What if she couldn't handle what they wanted her to do? These wedding guests seemed able to handle anything. They interacted with each other naturally, some of them switching partners, some of them playing in duos, threesomes, foursomes, or moresomes, content to hurt or tease at will. She was watching one of those moresomes with a squirming pang of arousal when Ethan caught her gaze. She quickly looked away, then back again so she'd seem less guilty. She glanced at him often when they played, since he sat on her right, but also because his dark, tousled hair was kind of sexy compared to Jonathan and Steve's short cuts. Ethan's blue eyes were as light as his hair was dark, at least in the sun. Inside, like now, they were the azure shade of an aquamarine sea. She couldn't let Ethan read her. Not now, with crazy thoughts in her mind about spanking and slapping and whipping, and how it might feel to be tied up in a way she couldn't escape. As their Beethoven concerto ended, she busied herself adjusting her bowstrings so none of the guys would notice her agitation. The party was winding down from its excitable peak. People were drinking less and talking less, and gathering informally near the groom and bride. Jonathan noticed the change in mood and suggested a Mozart piece. Ethan insisted on Tchaikovsky's First String Quartet instead. A dissension rare enough that Ruby and Steve exchanged surprised looks. Jonathan met Ethan's gaze for a moment, then nodded. The four of them had played together 5 years, long enough to communicate via brief eye contact and subtle expressions rather than words. Honestly, Ruby didn't have words for her feelings at that moment, as the four of them began to play the lyrical Tchaikovsky piece, while the bride and groom gazed into one another's eyes. The newlyweds had played with dozens of other people at the wild reception, with all their friends and guests, but now, this moment, they were exclusive to each other, expressing their deep, unshakable bond. The groom's unicorn outfit was gone, his tux put back on but only half-fastened, so he looked disheveled and sexy and ready to fuck. The bride wore a long veil and a white negligee, her curvy, tattooed body covered, but not really concealed. Her wedding gown lay in a heap by the cake table, forgotten, not important in the scope of their love for each other. The groom drew the veil around her, seductively brushing it against her skin. Ruby flubbed a note as the bride arched her head back and offered her neck for her husband's kiss. Her cheeks burned as the others played on, not acknowledging her mistake. The groom opened his lips against his bride's skin, and his teeth skimmed across her neck and jaw. It was vampirishly beautiful, stunningly erotic. Oh, God, she had to look away, or she'd stop playing altogether. Or she'd play some crazy, screaming jumble of notes, noise and dissonance without sense. She was grateful now for the piece Ethan had suggested, and wondered if this was why he'd chosen Tchaikovsky rather than Mozart, so she'd have something reasonable to cling to as her emotions went batshit with jealousy, horniness, and a strange surge of bliss. The bride and groom's slow, sultry makeout session continued, as all the guests watched, as the music played on, delicate and light. When they finished, Tchaikovsky